Okay, let me make an adjustment here. For some reason, the software acted it up. And, you know, this has all worked out. Then I go on the air and plop. And I believe this time the problem was with YouTube. But we'll play this by ear, see how it goes. Now, let me see if I can get rid of this. Nope. Got rid of me. Me back. Okay, I'm not getting rid of I'm not getting rid of this. I don't know why. But I'll just close it there. That takes care of that. This thing is not queuing up properly, and I don't know why. This is the first time I've run into this problem with this software. I don't know where I'm at here. Let me take 4. There I am. Just bear with me while I work the controls here. I'm going to see if I can get this back where it belongs. Well, I got the plane back. Now, for whatever reason, well, alright, let me bring in the, okay, well, I got that in. Now let's bring me in. Alright, All right, technical problems. I don't know what's going on with this thing. But anyway, where we're at here is the video that you just saw is um, an introductory clip I made. Now, I've got another video in here, and the numbers are already up to where I can do what I need to do. I still have, I'm still having feedback coming through the headphone. I think I got that covered. Oh my God. All right. Yeah, that was, everything was queued up properly, everything went, but we had a crash of some kind with YouTube of all things. The stream kept shutting down, but we're back up again. Now, like I was saying, yesterday I went to the Marion County Sheriff's Office, and I also went to the house to see, everything that happened there. And what I did is I'm going to give you the call number. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do an introduction, and then I'm going to have you guys call in. I've got the phone on charge right now. I'm going to have to do the same thing I did with Fireman John last night because I cannot get the software to work properly where the phone goes through the computer. I also cannot get the Skype to work, and I have yet to figure out how to bring Facebook in here to use the Facebook phone thingamajiggy that we did the other night. So what I'm going to do is as soon as I show this short video, I'm going to bring in the caller, and in the meantime I'm going to send the number out to her so that they have the call in. So that's what I'm doing right now is I'm making sure I have this phone opened up. So this has this is a temporary phone I'm using, and so I've got to check. What I'm doing is I'm going into settings so I can figure out what my own phone number is. Because this is a temporary phone I bought. I had a serious problem with my regular phones that is fixed, and my regular phones will be back on tomorrow. Okay. More connection settings. Trying to figure out how the hell to check. Sure. Alright, but yeah, sorry about this. I'm checking to see what my phone number is. Phone. Settings. Maybe that'll do it. About phone. Here we go. Well, that's not what I wanted, darn it. Now, I've done this 100 times, and now all of a sudden I can't do it. And what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to find the phone number for this phone so I can get the phone number out. And for some reason, I'm not finding it on the menu. Connections. Let's go to connections. Because it's supposed to say, what the hell's my number? Boom, 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 boom. Well, this is weird. Mobile networks, this is. Okay. Alright, well. Yeah, I'd love to get up to 1,000. We're creeping up there. Connection sounds about display, wallpaper, lock screen, privacy, location, features, device, apps, general management, accessibility, about phone. Alright, here we go. I don't know why it didn't bring that up before, but it brought it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this number out, And if you ladies would, wait until I send you the... Now this phone's going to start. Woo! Got 22 messages. Okay. The link is in the description there. I'm in the Wolves room. The link is there to watch the show, which you already know. And now I'm going to send you the number, which is... dot, dot, dot. Alright. Where'd it go? Son of a gun. I hate that. Okay, the number has been sent, and I'll let you know when to call in. I gotta make sure this is on Wi-Fi calling, or I'm not gonna be able to get anything, because I have a bad cell tower out here, which is, part of the problem I had, and why I told them I needed to, reconfigure my phone. Wi-Fi calling's on. All right, what I'm gonna do right now is that's the call-in number that's been sent. I'll let you know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and bring up the short video I made. I'm going to take me out of the picture, take my banner out. And I'm going to go up to... God, what did I do with my glasses? I'm as blind as a bat, man. Old age. Let's see. Alright, this is a short video of my little trip to Marion County, and there is no audio with this. I knocked out the audio. And my Saturday Murdathon came up. I don't want Saturday Murdathon. This isn't Saturday. And let's see. Okay, now I don't know why that's not cutting out. But weird. Anyway, it shouldn't interfere with the video, so here we go. Now this house is located about 14 miles south of Ocala itself. And I had the camera a little off. The house is to the extreme left. And what I did is I parked right here. This is where all the live trucks parked, was in this little area right here. I don't know. I don't care if she does or not. If she starts her nonsense, I'm going to knock her off the air, because this is too serious a matter to be playing around with trolls. But after looking around a little bit, I turned the car around. And this is one of the pictures I took of the house. Now, none of these cars have moved since the, if you remember the crime scene tape on the beginning, none of these cars have moved. They're still there. There's several cars. I'm gonna wait. This is a close-up of the main entrance to the house. That thing on the post at the very top is one of those motion-activated night lights. As far as I could tell, there's no cameras on the outside of the house. Yeah, it's a nice house. It's a big house. As you'll notice when I switch over to the other side now, I don't know whose car this is in the front. The burgundy car in the background is Chris Hallett's SUV. And you can just make it out in the back. That is a Toyota that's parked on the side of the house in the grass. I don't know if that car runs or not. And then I'm leaving the area. And from here, I basically went to the Marion County Sheriff's Office. It's about a 10-minute drive from this location. Yes, he did live with his mother. Um, I'll see how this processes. Yeah, all right. It started back up again. This thing is acting really strange. Um, as you wouldn't believe, my preview screen and what I actually see on the air is way off. So yeah, you're just gonna have to keep refreshing. This thing is just not cooperating. The nice thing about it is hopefully this will record uh, and um, refresh. Now, I went in, I talked to the sheriff, and I found out a few things, and then, I came out and left. Uh, I've been told, why am I getting that? Oh, somebody's calling in. Hold on. Hello? Let me put you on speakerphone. Hello?
Hey, I'm here.
Okay, yeah, let me let me reconfigure the video up here. I'm just going through the video uh, of the sheriff's office and everything. The short video I made while I went up there, uh, and then I'll get you on the air. You're on the air, by the way. Uh, see.
Right. Well, we're still traveling home. We'll be there probably in about 10 minutes. But I'm
Okay,
here.
well just stand by on there. I'm letting the video play out, and then I'm going to cue over to the my slide, and that way I can take your call, and we'll go from there. Not going
All
to be
right.
able to do this quite the way I wanted to because of the way this thing's acting, but what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna have you guys, uh, you know, speak your piece, so to speak. All right.
Okay.
Now, okay. Now let's see how far we are. I got to check the charge rate of the phone, and it's not gonna self to the audience and let them know who you are and why you're calling.
All righty. Well, I'm Brenda Johnson. Probably everybody knows me, knows of me. Um, I was with Kirk um, since he was with Law for Dummies. So I was following Kirk way before anybody was on his show, and before it became Equalize and Law Corner and all that. So anyway, to make a long story short, or shorter, back a couple of years ago when Timothy Homestead was being transported to Florida, at that time Chris was helping Neely. Now let me back up. I introduced Neely to Chris because he had asked me to help her, and so I researched her case, and I found a lot of stuff that was questionable. Are you guys getting a feedback? Because I am.
Okay, I'm not sure what's going on at this end. This is why I was trying to set something up a little different because it's difficult. The way I'm doing it's rather difficult. I'm holding the phone up to my headset microphone, so I don't know if that's creating feedback back to you or what the situation is. If you're listening to the stream and talking, you need to turn your audio down to your computer so that it doesn't feed back into your phone. That might be part of the problem. Yeah, it's going to be tinny
Well,
because.
yeah, I'm in the car. We're almost home, and I'll get on my laptop then. But I mean, if you can hear me, that's fine. I'm just hearing some feedback. But anyway, at the time that I discovered that they were frauds, um, Neely's mother had been staying with her in Florida. Neely's mother took Neely's twin daughters to Florida from Kentucky to try to let Neely become the mother she was begging to be. Now, I know for a fact that Neely's mother had custody of those children because Neely gave them away. Neely's children were never taken away from her. So that was a big lie. Um, However, okay, that's when the Timothy Homestead was being expedited to Florida. And so Kirk Pendergrass, on donations and other people's money put in the bill, he goes to Florida to represent Timothy. I'm guessing. That's what they were telling everybody anyway. And you know what? I sucked it up. I believed it. There's no shame in saying, "Hey, I was
Yeah.
scammed." The shame is when you continue to let them scam you, and you should know better. So, I really believed in these guys. I really did. Uh, but when I got to Florida, I saw a whole different scheme of what I thought was going on, and I have to tell you, it was really disheartening for me. When you support somebody, you really support them, and then when you realize, oh my God, they have no integrity, or they're lying, they're scamming people. Either you join them and have no integrity, or you just back out, and that's what I did. 2 years later, I backed out. But when I got to Florida, it was the day after Kirk humiliated and interrogated and intimidated and was rude. His normal self, his character, and he ran Neely's mother off. She took the kids and left. So Neely called me. At the time, I was at Kathy Watson's house. I had helped her get her aunt out of a nursing home, and so Neely calls on video, just hysterical, telling us. She tells Kathy and I that Kirk's at my house. I don't want him at my house. He needs to leave. He's run off my mother, and she's taking the children, and I'm never going to get my kids back. La da 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 da. And I'm like, she's begging me, can you please come here? So then Kirk calls, and he's like, Brenda, Neely has flipped. She is crazy. You need to come here and help us. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm getting 2 different stories from Neely and Kirk. So I go to, I said, well,
Yeah,
I'll
if I
leave.
could interrupt real
Well,
quick, they want to know the time frame that when this story you're telling took place, the exact story. And I think you were mentioning Tim Holseth was never brought to Florida. That was Field McConnell that was finally indicted to come down. Tim Holseth did not show up for court. He's currently on the run. We don't even know if he's alive or not. We haven't heard from him for 6 months. But I was just clearing that up for the room because they couldn't figure out why we were having Field McConnell or Tim Holseth brought to Florida when he wasn't yet. He was supposed to, but that never happened. So you can go
oh,
ahead.
okay. I was thinking that's like Kirk there. It may have been Field. I like I said, I haven't even talked to any of these people. When I'm done, I'm done. So I haven't even kept up with anything. It was so strange because people were calling me like 9 o'clock Monday morning. I'm getting calls about Chris being murdered, and I'm like, what? Why are you asking me? I haven't talked to these people in 2 years. I don't even know. But I did speak with Neely's mother that morning, so it was confirmed. She knew. I'm almost home, and I can look on my laptop, and I can give you more details and exact dates, because what I did when I left Florida, when I stayed there almost a week, and I realized this is not what I'm about to get myself involved in, and I'm out of here. And I wrote Chris a formal complaint on both his agents. They're calling themselves agents, Agent Pendergrass and Agent Petrie. I wrote him a formal complaint for equals, and I emailed it to him. And I have that in my laptop, and I'll go into great detail in that email, and I have the date. So I'm pulling in my driveway right now.
All right.
Yeah, so if you'll give me just a few minutes, I'll run in and pull up the email, and I can give y'all dates, and I can see what you guys are doing. Because I'm on my phone, I can't see anything on YouTube right now.
Okay. All right. That sounds fine. And if you want, you can call back if you want to do
Okay.
that. That'll probably be easier that way. It'll give you a chance to get set up and everything. All right. We'll talk to you in a minute.
Yeah, give me a few minutes. I'll call right back. Thanks.
You're welcome. Bye bye. Okay. Give her a chance to get to her computer and get everything out, because that's the best thing. Now, I've been in contact with these people for about the past several days. They contacted me. It's a group called the Wolves over on Facebook, and I have a massive amount of stuff that I'm going through, that I'm going to need to have to study the documents and get them up for you guys. Probably not going to be able to do it tonight, so we'll get that. But yeah, I did correct her a little bit on that. I think she's probably just a little bit nervous and everything. So but give her a chance to get situated. But in the meantime, I am going to also let you guys know that there has been movement in the Sarah Dunklin case. Now, this was a closed hearing, so I'm not able to discuss yet the information that's out there, other than Sarah Dunklin has lost, and lost big, with her case. And that's as far as I can go with it for now, until I get the legal clearance to say something about what happened down there. Or up there, I should say. This is another pack of wolves. We're the wolf pack for truth. They're just the plain wolves. They're the mama bear wolves or whatever they are. That's just, that's the name they chose for themselves. But anyway, so Sarah Dunklin, her troubles are just beginning, because not only, because just her case was a disaster. She didn't prevail in any way, shape, or form. So anyway, let's not have a fight with a pack of wolves here. There's wolves are bloody fighters. I know. Maybe they ought to call themselves the mama bears. But anyway, what they are, they're a group of women that have had direct problems with Chris Hallett and E-Clause. There's a case in Pennsylvania that apparently Chris Hallett totally screwed up because of some of the weird paperwork he I'm losing my train of thought here. It was Chris Hallett in his weird legal briefs that ruined the case of one woman up there who was fighting for custody of her child. And their tendency, that TN Lights, that's what I have heard, that Sarah Dunklin has and will turn state's evidence, probably in the Cynthia Adzug case. Now, what these people don't realize is they are, all these people are going to be investigated in this case of this shooting. When I went to the Marion County Sheriff's Department, I talked to one of the investigators, and basically they told me a number of things. First of all the electronics in the house has been seized and is currently undergoing forensics examination. I did hear that there is law enforcement in Pensacola. There's law enforcement in Kentucky. And they are talking to a lot of people. And, as everyone knows, the story has gone international. There's been a number of publications that have published the details of this particular murder and has made it clear that it nearly shot Chris Hallett because he was unable to help her get her children back. And I think she may have realized that Chris Hallett actually made the situation worse, which he did. And Neely didn't help matters by taking her children and going across the state of Kentucky. That just added to it. But now we have the situation. And another mystery that came about when I was looking over the paperwork, and that is that the gun that was used had a yellow tip on it, and we've been trying to figure out what that's all about. Maybe Agent 19 can shed some light as to why there's a yellow tip on this revolver. But as I've mentioned earlier as well, she could have wound up causing multiple murders because she had the gun pointed at the woman with the child and the gun jammed. And this gave the woman and the child enough time to flee. But once she got the gun unjammed, she basically noticed that Chris Hallett was still alive and she finished him off. So it became an execution at that point. Now, it is by all indications, and again, this is partly discussions with the officer from Marion County as well as with other people familiar with the matter, that this may be a murder one death penalty case because it's murder with special circumstance. And I am going to pull up the video of that, or not the video, but the section of the complaint that has that, because this makes it clear that okay, let me go, so bear with me. But yeah, the state looks like they're going to give a murder charge with extra severity, I guess is the best word. I'm trying to multitask here, is creating a bit of a sloppiness in my webcast. Apologize for that. Okay, now let me bring this up. Now let me move, because what this says murder, dangerous, depraved, with premeditation. Now, depraved and dangerous means that this was very, very severe in what she did. So at the minimum, we're looking at life without parole, but we may be looking at something much worse by the time this gets to court. See, what I'm doing is I'm trying to do something here. But, dangerous and depraved murder that's pretty bad. Well, they're saying it's without premeditation, but what may happen when this goes to the grand jury is this charge can be changed and upgraded because the investigation is not complete. And Yeah, the question is who owned the gun. Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. Now you have to remember that Neely Blanchard uh, was indicted for the kidnapping, and that means that because of that indictment and because she was out on bond or what have you, she is not supposed to be in possession of a weapon. So there's a violation there. Uh, but also, whoever supplied her with that weapon, if it is not hers, can be charged as an accessory. Because if she had no business having that gun and somebody provided that gun or allowed her to use that gun, they are just as responsible for the death of Chris Hallett as she is. Uh, Now, it's been rumors that it was Field McConnell's gun, but it is also a rumor that it was her husband's gun or ex-husband. Her ex-husband is military, but the way the description of the gun has come out, unless it's a nickel-plated 9mm semi-automatic or something along those lines, it may have been a revolver. Now, Berettas and Glocks and a few others have the chamber where it has a recoil absorption where the thing goes back and forth, and they've been known to jam. So this may have been a Beretta, Glock, or one of those other kind of rifles. But again, when all this comes out, as the investigation progresses, we're going to find out what kind of weapon it is and so forth. But okay, she's calling back, so let's see how this works out. Okay, you're back on the air again.
Yeah, I never was on the air, brother. This is Randy. This is Rev It Up.
Oh, sorry, Rev It Up. I thought you were a different caller. Okay. Yeah, I was corrected. Revolvers don't jam. Okay. I guess you can introduce yourself and say your piece then.
Yeah, I'm Randy Davis, Future of Our Children Radio Network. Our motto is Rev It Up. We're going to be going over a lot of this stuff on The Watchman on Sunday night, 8 o'clock. But I can tell y'all, here's the thing. You're talking about a gun, and then we'll go into some more things if you want, if you'll give time for it, Mark. That's up to you. But
yeah, go ahead.
There's a lot of the women's handguns that are out there, 380s, little ones, big ones. But a lot of your smaller guns have lime green, they have yellow.
Uh-huh.
They're made that way. And yeah, typically, most people that deal with firearms a lot know that the yellow tip is a blank gun, usually if it's right on the tip. But if it says yellow on the barrel, is what we read into it, then that's totally different.
Uh-huh.
And the thing about this deal with Neely, the Kentucky charges that were there, what's interesting is that nobody doesn't know this, and we're going to get more in depth and show you how it happened. But if you remember, Neely was once before, she was let out of jail early in the South Carolina basic kidnapping.
And okay, I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, she was accidentally let loose before she should have been let loose, and it was actually during a 2-week trial for custody.
Mm-hmm.
And a week of that, Neely spent a week of that in jail. And then but what happened down there is there's a situation where she claimed, of course, Neely was claiming God and a lot of things, but Neely claimed that God had let her out, but it wasn't God. And we'll reveal what did let her out, and it shouldn't have happened. And it was Neely that made it happen, by the way. And it's a bad situation, but she got out of there, and then she was a fugitive from justice for 9 months. And we have watched this thing happen and kind of break down over time. And give you a little bit of background, we're not ones who just talked to her on the phone or messaged her or Facebook. I first met Neely, and it's kind of crazy, but this is how the world is working, and with some of these groups that are going on and some of these so-called legal experts, advocacy groups, but we first met her down at the Nancy Schaefer rally. It was Senator Nancy Schaefer's memorial down in Georgia, in March 26th of 2018. And whenever we met Neely, the ironic part is I was waiting to speak. It was kind of cold outside, and I was like, let everybody else speak first. And a matter of fact, whenever I did speak, it was dark. But when we were waiting, Melissa and I were sitting in Neely's car. It's a black Ford Escape. I think that's what she was driving now. But Neely was in the car. We were eating pizza, and she was showing me what was the most proud thing she had, and that was these were legal bindings to be used in a federal court that Chris Hallett and E-Clause had prepared for her.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I'm just curious as to how Christopher Hallett, and I didn't know him real well then, but I've heard of him. I said, I'm just curious how he can file anything into a court for you. He's not an attorney. And she went on to explain that and showed me the little bar number and everything, and said, yeah, he can do it because he has a fiduciary relationship because he was in real estate. And I said, well, I understand fiduciary relationships. I was a Series 7 stockbroker, but that would never allow you to transfer one license for another license to practice law. And
no,
so
that's completely wrong. He cannot do that. That's where the fraud came in. He was practicing law without a license. He was practicing law without being associated with the Florida bar or any bar for that matter. It's an absolute and complete fraud.
No doubt. And look, you have people right on here that know that. As a matter of fact, they've helped take some actions. There's a person in the comment who I actually sent some stuff to because they had asked me, and they were sending stuff off the next day to Florida officials and federal officials the next day, and I provided them with it, and it was on Hallett, and that information was where Hallett had filed notices of appearance. He had filed motions. He had filed all sorts of legal briefs into Elizabeth Byler's case in Pennsylvania. And very much like what we're looking at here. And tomorrow we'll have more, or Sunday on the show we'll have more to show, because then I can actually show the documentation. But what had happened there is that Neely, just like Elizabeth Byler, had failed for something that Chris could not do. And if you look, and that is practice law. And if you watch what's happening, you've got stories, as you said, they're pretty much international right now. I mean, some are in French, some are in all kinds of languages that you have to translate because it got legs, and probably going to be a movie before it's over with. But what he had done is he filed these things using fake bar number. And then he had people thinking that he was going there. Chris Hallett actually, and we'll provide the receipts and everything in Byler's case, where he was going to go to Pennsylvania. And just like, here's where it all breaks down though. When we were in that first little rally down there with Nancy Schaefer, the senator's memorial, it's like I met a lot of people I met that now are in the news, if you would. But John Gentry was there. You had Lotus Justice, who was there. You had Neely, who was there. And I'm not going to name everyone that was there. But when you look back now, and you had Fran who no-showed because she knew I was going to be there. And that's when Fran and I first butted heads. It was like 3 months before that, Fran was running one of these kind of same things as Hallett. But it was we're going to do a citizen's arrest of all the judges. And people were sending me stuff, and it's kind of strange, but I didn't promote it. I didn't go out and share it. So people were mad because I didn't share it. And they said, why aren't you promoting Fran's Arrest a Judge Day? I said, because if I tell my people to go do that and they do that, they're going to go to jail. Are you stupid?
Yeah.
You try and put handcuffs on a judge and see what happens.
Yeah,
so
really.
When we were there, Fran never showed up, but her people did. And Danielle Hatcher, she was there. She was there all liquored up and carrying on, but she was there for a photo op because Fran never showed. It was like a train wreck of different things. Ted Fogg is in there slapping down Lotus Justice, and I jump on him, get him around the neck, throw him out. And that's when Neely was triggered, ran up the stairs, knocked the bear's head off the wall. She ended up leaving early that night because, for whatever reason, this triggered her very bad. You could tell something had happened in her life before, and that seeing that actually triggered her really badly. It did. And these guys knew. These guys knew that she was fragile mentally. And there's no doubt that everything that they've done played a huge part in it. But the point that I'm bringing up here is that you'll see certain people and they become notable or they get attention, and then later we see things like this. We see Neely, and she's got grand jury indictments. She's got murder charges now. She's going to have a host of more charges because, there were bond conditions. She couldn't leave the state. She certainly couldn't have a gun. The Kentucky thing, if you look at it hard, and we'll break it down on Sunday, but you've got where she's basically a habitual felon.
Yeah.
And just like the time before in South Carolina when she was let out early, and she shouldn't have been, she was also let out of Kentucky early. Now, believe that. We're going to show it on Sunday, and there is a huge development in the Kentucky thing, more than one. And we had people there today. We also received back information that we requested, and one of the people in your comments, and they'll be able to watch Sunday and see it because they played a part in trying to stop this as well as we did. And the state of Florida dropped the ball. They dropped the ball. And when I say drop the ball, all the agencies in the state of Florida dropped the ball, or Hallett would still be alive. He would still be alive, and Neely would not be in jail if they had not dropped the ball. And we will show the paperwork to show and prove that they did drop the ball and that they recognized exactly what they were being shown. So the whole point is, there's so many agencies out there that could have stopped this. But when we put all of these people together and you lump them together, and there's some people taking one side and they're making Chris into a martyr. And, he oh my God, she's an animal. She's mentally ill. They knew that. She was their agent. She was their co-worker. She was their client. They were sleeping with her. They were mentally running her through the gambit of mental abuse, physical abuse, and every other kind of abuse, while they're claiming to be able to do something that they cannot do. And I know there's a lot of people that are going to say, no, it's all her fault. But here's the problem with that. Whenever somebody is fragile, and we've all watched this in the movement all along, where you'll have a father or you'll have a mother, and the stress of the case itself will cause them to commit suicide. They'll take their own lives. We've watched it more than one time where they took their own lives. And we've also watched where people have been pushed to the breaking point by a social worker, and they tried to take a social worker's life, and in some cases, they actually succeeded in doing so. So when you look at this one and you simply only want to blame Neely, you got to look at the pressure that Kirk and Gentry and Hallett and everything they were doing to her, and everybody sleeping with everybody else. I mean, we're going to go into a lot of things, but at the end of the show on Sunday, you'll see where everybody in this rotten mess helped bake this cake. And if it hadn't have been for things that all of them were doing, then none of this could have happened. It just could not have happened. And it's a warning. It's a warning to other parents that are looking at this. It's okay to take sides and say, well, I like this or I like that, or this one's my person. But the bottom line of this thing, Mert, is that some of this could have been stopped, and there's no doubt Hallett didn't have to die. He did.
Well, I believe that. The problem here is that they know when they recruit these women, that they are desperate. They're at their wits' end. They may not have it all together to begin with. and they just simply make matters worse. And Neely is a classic example. She was driven to this, and I'm sure the defense is going to try and paint it that way. Uh, in the end, she did something she wasn't supposed to do, but if people had just used common sense judgment, this never would have happened.
No, it wouldn't have. And let me tell you something, Mert. Here's the irony of it: is that there's some things that we've been involved with that nobody ever saw. They just didn't see it. But during this thing, and we're going to show evidence of every bit of it, during this thing, there was a time when, right after we went to the rally in Tennessee, which Neely was also there, and we stayed at John Gentry's house. We met people who are now involved in this, like Kathy Watson, and we're gonna provide some evidence there too, where there's a certain state's witness. Somebody turned state's witness, so we're going to bring those things out on Sunday. But when we were meeting there and meeting all of these people, John Gentry had shown me his bindings, and he had actually bought a very nice copier that could make the bindings that are needed in the Supreme Court, because bindings are very important. They're very expensive to make, and they have to be written a specific way. So John was showing me what he had to file in the Supreme Court, and we hit it off. He actually, liked me. I liked him, and we were doing some stuff together. And then John was doing the Kirk's Law Corner with Chris and Pendergrass. And then all of a sudden one day, for whatever reason, there was a situation where we had helped a lady out of a lady that Fran had screwed over, actually out of New York, had 5 days, or her kids were going to Croatia, and she called us and begged us to help, and we did, and a court order was given so the kids couldn't fly out with the father, and then all of a sudden Hallett posted that he had did that, and so I posted in there and said, you're lying. You're just straight up lying. And so he attacked me, said he'd roll me over, do all these other things. And John Gentry wanted us all to get along. That's how John is. So he created a little chat, a little 4-person chat in Messenger. And it was myself, John Gentry, Hallett, and Pendergrass. And I'm going to produce that chat and show it to y'all, everybody, on Sunday. But what it amounts to is this, is that Hallett was taking credit for something he had nothing to do with. Gentry told him, and then what Hallett did online because of that, in order to shut me up, was he told everybody online that I had caused a woman to be TPR'd in Florida, and she went to jail. And I said, you're a lying fat bastard. I don't know why you would think that I did that, but if you do have that woman, you need to produce her, because I haven't worked with anybody in the state of Florida, and you're a liar. So as it progressed in that chat, we're going to show what happened in there, and it will blow your mind, because there's certain people that will take up for their friend, even when they know they're wrong, even when they know they're lying, even when they know they're deceitful. And in the end, it always comes back around to, if you stick to the truth, you don't have to remember all the lies. You just tell the truth. And the one thing about us is there are a lot of people that will say, I don't like Randy, or I don't like Rev It Up, or the Watchman, or whatever. I don't like how they go about it. But the point is not how we go about it. Nobody says we're lying. We produce the evidence. We will produce the evidence. And there are people on here that are listening, may like that, they may not. But I'm telling you, before, just to give you all a hint at what's coming up and what's going on, it's going to show all these love orgies going on, crazy sexual things going on, crazy stuff happening in jailhouses, ridiculous charges that got hidden somehow. What else? All sorts of legal shenanigans that were going on that we tried to warn people. Not because we wanted to be right. We never go out there and say, we want to be your advocate. You don't even hear that. We don't want to do that. We help people that we pick to help. But we're not out here advertising and taking anybody's money or trying to be something that we're not. We're trying to help people avoid what we're looking at right now. And this entire thing could have been 100% avoid it, but there were people jockeying for position. And we'll also show where Neely figured it out. Neely could have won, and she could have won so fast, and we'll prove it. And anybody watching it will say that this is stupid to have done what she did when the easy way out would have been. That's the part that's got to stop for the movement to move forward. And by that, what I mean is, there are people that are on here now who they'll get mad and they'll claim that Facebook is blocking them, shadow banning them, won't let them get their truth. You may be protecting your friend, but long term, this is what happens when people see what Neely had done before. There will be absolutely nobody that will defend her and say that she was not in a mental situation that nobody would have wanted to be around her unless you were also mental. And I mean, the things that are going to come out are being found naked, crazy calls, conspiracy and bribery to make 911 calls, handwritten letters will be brought out, documentation, over 20 mug shots, fights and battles with domestic violence between Neely and her own mother, her mother's situation running over a social worker in Moncks Corner, South Carolina. We didn't jump out here, Mert, like everybody else. There was a lot of people who jumped it quick, and I got the call, and I said, I'm not going to mess with it until we've gotten everything. And I can tell you, we'll have a lawyer, we will have a therapist, we will have a researcher, we will have information from 2 other lawyers, and a GAL. And so we can break it down for the people, because we didn't want to be fast. We wanted to be accurate. And I can tell you, what's coming is going to be accurate, and it will blow the minds even of everybody who think they know what they think they know. But we have watched this thing from the beginning, and it's amazing to me how we've been accurate. Like with Lotus Justice, what was her end? You know, we predicted that, and I saw her obviously face to face, and she ended up with tear gas flying through her basement window while wearing a gas mask and shooting 2 cops, and ended up with her legs sticking up on top of a house. Then we watched Arlena Will, U.S. Marshal. We watched Melissa Glover. Same thing. We've got those videos where she's talking to Kirk Pendergrass on the phone, holding an E-Clause document while the cops slam the E-Clause document to the ground, throw her phone to the ground, and chuck her right behind it and her son. These things have never ended well. They haven't. And this is not a matter of do you choose one side or the other side. This is anybody with any common sense cannot support any organization who is not vetting the agents they have on board, not helping their client, running from their client. And this latest thing, maybe you know more about this part, Mert, than I do, but I see where the lady Shannon is saying that because of a unclean hands doctrine, that they're going to be pulling out of Neely's defense or whatever. But here's the problem. The unclean hands document has to do with lawsuits, and if I sue Mert, and Mert says, well, Randy was in on it with me, and matter of fact, he's the one who got the money, I'm coming to the situation with dirty hands, with unclean hands. So it has nothing to do with a motion to withdraw as counsel if they were counsel. And all of this stuff is like screwing with people's minds that don't know any better. And the last thing that parents need when they're already worried to death, they're losing their family, they've been shamed, their reputation is shot, their mental health, physical health, and finances are being completely obliterated by family court. The last thing they need is for those they trust with all of their information to put further, pressure on them and stress on them, like I'm seeing from these nut jobs. So that's pretty much all I got to say for right now on it, Mert, unless you got some questions. But
no, I do appreciate you coming in, because this is a team operation where everybody with information on these different sites get the truth out, and that's all I'm trying to do here. Yeah. Now my email address is mertwitness1live@gmail.com. So if you have anything you can send me, you can send it there. I am going to put my email address in the description. So if anybody has anything that they want to send me, they can do that. And I'll even type it in the chat here. Because my mission here is to get out as much information about what's happening with these cases and let everybody make up their own mind. I'm not taking sides or any of that. This is basically a team effort with all of us out there that wants to get to the truth of what in hell is going on with E-Claws and people that surround themselves with this organization. So thank you once again for calling in. And
Rev it up.
okay, rev it up, and whoops, I think we lost the call or he hung up. But that gave us a little bit of insight into all the different people that are trying to put a stop to this. I'm just one of a bunch of people. I kind of get my 2 cents in there, but there's people out there that are working much, much harder than I possibly could to get this information out. And Shar is one of them. She, like I said earlier, is part of a group that call themselves Wolves. And they were trying to do things with the system to try and help these poor women out that get in these desperate situations. But you get organizations like the Children's Crusade, the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force, the High Command, and E-Claws, and these people make matters worse. And they're doing it either for the attention or for money. There's a lot of money floating around on these various situations. And Neely should never have listened to these people. Neely should have gone through the system, found legitimate help, and mitigate her problems. Neely was in an ideal situation. She had a way to visit her children. Her mother had custody of the children. They weren't in CPS. They weren't off with foster parents that you had to worry about how they were being treated. Children were with a mature adult. And because of these people butting in, they ruined Neely's life, and now a life has been lost because of something that never should have happened in the first place. And now people like Rev It Up and Miko and Shar and all these other people are trying to get the story out as to how this thing spun so far out of control. It's unknown how this is ever going to get straightened out. We've got Cynthia Absug up in Colorado who is facing severe penalties in jail. See, I've got another call. Hold on. This is Merit Witness 1. Who we got?
Hey, this is Brenda calling you back. Hold on, I gotta move this.
Okay.
Hey, this is Brenda.
Okay, who is this again? Shar?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my...
Okay, because I'm getting a lot of background noise. That's what I was trying to figure out.
That better?
Okay, go ahead. We'll see how this works.
Okay. I was telling you guys about my trip to Florida. I looked at Neely's case years ago before Chris and Kurt had the case, and I realized, there were some things I just couldn't. It was crazy. Now, let me tell you, in the beginning, Neely told me that her mother was trafficking her children. So this trafficking thing, well, we already know that's not true. We can say a lot of bad things about Chris and Kirk, but I don't believe they're trafficking children at all. That's just a story that Neely's always hung on to, no matter who had her children. So anyway, her mother told me that she ran the roads a lot, and she was going to put the girls up for adoption. So her mother took the girls when they were 11 months old, and she's raised them all this time. Neely was in an ideal situation because her mother loves her, and she was willing to work with Neely to let Neely be the mom she wanted to be. So her mom left Kentucky with the girls, moved in with Neely in Florida. Neely's husband deployed, and the girls enrolled in school there. Now, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that this was Timothy that he had gone to Florida for. The date on that, when I went to Florida, it was on Monday, May the 13th, 2019. So I don't think Field was in Florida yet, was he? I don't think he was arrested yet. I'm not sure. But
No,
anyway.
Field was arrested a little more than a year ago, in November, and he was extradited to Florida shortly afterwards. Or actually, I think he might have been arrested in October. But he's been in Florida for quite some time now, and he's in house arrest in Stuart, Florida, at his son's house, awaiting trial. Because of the virus situation, the courts are not doing that much, so his case is pretty well on hold for the time being. As far as I know, Holmseth has never been to Florida. Now, I could be wrong, but as far as I know, he has not been in Florida. The last time anybody heard anything about him is he was down in the state of Alabama having his picture taken in front of a bunch of yachts. And that was the end of that. So, as far as the Neely situation, I don't think he's was involved early on with some things that happened up in Wisconsin and Minnesota, but not so much with Kirk and Chris Hallett. And this is what ultimately got Hallett killed. So, yeah, you can go ahead on with what you were talking about there if you wish.
Yeah, okay. So, Wednesday, May the 15th, Neely called me and Kathy Watson, a video call, and said that Kirk Pendergast had ruined her case, that he verbally attacked and intimidated her mother, and her mother was packing to leave and taking the children with her. Neely asked me would I come to Florida, and said that Chris Hallett wants us all to meet him on Thursday. Now, so I went. Let's see. I traveled over 9 hours. I'm looking at notes. Some of it you guys don't want to hear every little thing, but
That's fine.
I traveled 9 hours on Thursday, May the 16th. And when I arrived at Neely's apartment, Kirk met me outside and told me, "I'm so glad you're here. She is crazy. She is out of her mind." And I'm like, "Really?" But, because I didn't get it. So then the next morning, Neely gets up and she tells me that Kirk has assaulted her. He put his hands on her, all kind of stuff. She wanted him out of her house. So Neely asked me to get up and go with her to the police department. I want you to know the documents that she was going to file. I looked over written permission to pick up the children. Since her mom had custody, the school wasn't letting Neely come into the school and pick them up. Well, Neely, her mom's already gone with the kids. Neely's wanting me to go with her to the police department to file a kidnapping report, and then to the clerk's office to file on record where her mother gave her permission to pick up the children. So I look at Kirk and Neely and I say, "Y'all, they are not going to file this at the clerk's office. They're just not. First of all, it's not even signed by a judge. It's not a power of attorney or anything, and it's not notarized, and it's regarding minor children, so they're not going to file it. Well, Kirk got mad at me, and we argued back and forth. And then Neely said she wanted to do a kidnapping report, and I told her, how can your mother kidnap your children when she's got custody? This is ridiculous, y'all. So they just both got really ugly with me. Let's see. So we drove around, and I drove around and watched Neely make a fool out of herself and Kirk, and almost go to jail a few times, making people mad. So actually, then I just, I got disgusted with the whole thing and I left. But while I was there, they called Kathy Watson and had Kathy Watson. She lives in Dawson Springs, Kentucky. She's the one that Neely took her children to her house when she kidnapped them. They have Kathy Watson going over to Neely's mother's house to spy on her mother. And Kathy's over there driving back and forth around her mother's house for hours, talking to Neely on the phone, about what's going on over there. So it kind of concerns me that Kathy is manipulated into this, because I believe she's easily influenced. Like a lot of people, I was too, until I saw it with my own eyes that these two are in a relationship. No, I never saw them have sex together before. But when they're in the bedroom sleeping together at night, when you wake up and they're both in there, those kind of things, it was just obvious, so obvious. Shannon was really upset and calling me a lot because she knew that they were too. So now Chris wanted to meet with Kirk and me. Now get this. Do you know that Chris and Kirk have never met each other in person? They've never met in person. We were in Florida. I was there a week. Kirk was there several months. And Neely did everything in her power to prevent Kirk and Chris from meeting each other. They never met. We were supposed to go when Chris was calling me, where are you coming? And Neely was just like, I guess she was so afraid some lies are going to be exposed or something. I don't know. But that's really all that I know. Like I said, I separated from them that week. I cut ties with everybody, including Kathy Watson. Let's see if there's anything else in here. No, just the money. They both told me, if you'll get down here, we'll pay your way and all this. That. Oh, and I had to go to Kentucky to get Neely's file. I have just about all of Neely's case history, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Where she gave her mom custody. I mean, her kids were never stolen, and she went on live. It just made me sick. And I told people, I privately told people, y'all, she's not telling the truth. She's lying to you. And so they all unfriended me and followed Chris and Kirk, of course, which is fine by me. I wish they would give us a like button when people unfriend us. So, yeah. But Neely just fabricated so many things, and Neely, and I'm not against Neely. I'm just saying.
Alright, we're having a connection problem here. You still there?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I got it fixed now. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to position a phone where I'm not holding it up to my ear because my arm's getting tired, so I put it on my desk. So that should work fine now.
Yeah, so I sent just a full complaint, um, and that's about it, really. Neely's husband was deployed, and one day when I was in the car with her mother-in-law called, and she said, "Oh God, it's my mother-in-law," and I'm like, "Aren't you going to answer it?" She goes, "No, I'm not," and I thought, well, that's weird. So I didn't fly into her business with her mother-in-law, but I don't know, and it's sad that she was passed around to all these people claiming to be advocates, and but I'm pretty sure that's just how Neely was. I don't really, I don't know why they would want to do that with one of their clients. I don't know. It's just pretty. I just felt like there was no integrity and no truth, and I realized they were just all full of it, because the documents they were trying to pass over to the court were ridiculous, and there was no way. I mean, they looked at her like she was crazy. In fact, they told her exactly what I told her they would tell her at the clerk's office. Well, ma'am, this is a permission slip for you to pick up children. We don't file those on the record. Mm-hmm. And then Neely calls Kirk on the phone, and they're both demanding. Neely's got Kirk on speaker. They're demanding that the clerk file these papers. I left the clerk's office. I thought, okay, great. They're going to get Neely's going to get arrested. I'm going outside. I am not. I've never been so embarrassed in my life. And she was demanding to see all these different authorities and stuff. So, but that's all I know is that they're just scamming everybody.
Well, yeah, that's what they've been doing all these years, and that's what a lot of us has been trying to do, is expose these people and try to keep women like Neely from falling into this same trap. And I certainly wish that it had been done so that someone didn't die because of it. But this is what happens when you get involved in this kind of a situation. A mother either losing her child or fearing the loss of her child is in one of the most desperate and stressful situations you can be in. And by intervening in these cases and not being qualified to do anything to mitigate the mother's problems is what causes something like what happened to Chris Hallett. And it's just unfortunate that all the lives that are going to be destroyed because of this one act of carelessness.
Sure. I don't know any parent that have gotten their children back using any of their anything.
No, nobody has come out on top of this. People have either been arrested, their children are that much, or they have not gotten custody of their children. Their cases have been made worse. We've got one woman under arrest and on trial because of what happened. We got another woman out in Utah that is facing criminal charges for interstate kidnapping. We got Sarah Dunklin down in Arkansas, who because of her conduct has lost severely in court, and she's never going to see her child again until that child's an adult. And she's really got herself into a bind. There's all kinds of stuff that happened with that case that I simply cannot talk about right now. But she's paying dearly for her conduct. And it just goes on and on and on, because I'm hearing about cases I didn't even know about. When I got hooked up with you guys and the Wolves, all this stuff is coming out that these people are involved in, and it's just amazing. It's beyond imagination.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that Clark was in Florida on donations. He left. Where was he working for Timothy? Minnesota?
When Kirk Pendergrass got involved with Tim Holmseth, just before he skipped out of court, that was entirely in Minnesota. He had gone to Minnesota, and everything that he did there is well known. And then Kirk at some point went to Wisconsin, to Plum City, and was with Field McConnell there, and stayed at the residence after Field McConnell was arrested and after Field McConnell went to Florida. And then just before Christmas, everybody left the residence. They were forced out by the son, who is now taking care of Field. He got an eviction notice and kicked everybody out of the house. And I believe Tim Homseth was at the house at that time as well.
Yeah, they were hiding him out somewhere, I think.
Yeah, well, it's alleged that Tim Homseth has been assisted by Randy Lynn Erickson of Elk River, Wisconsin. She's admitted to it several times. He was spotted in Elk River, and the only reason he wasn't arrested was because of the coronavirus, but he is being kept track of. And as it has come out, there are federal investigations in which a number of people, including Homseth, are the subject of. And it's just, once the dust settles with everything that's going on this month, sometime after the first of the year, I would suspect we're going to start seeing some indictments handed down, and people are going to start being held accountable for their actions.
Good. Well, I know that Kirk was on donations in Florida. He was supposed to be staying in a hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
And he stayed at Neely while her husband was deployed. I mean, he stayed there a long time. I don't, like I said, I cut ties with all of them. I didn't even ask questions. I didn't even want to know anything about them. I'm going to have
Yeah, you're right. Minnesota.
Yeah, I have real stuff that I work on. So I just didn't, I followed them for so long, and then when I started school, I'm learning things that they're doing wrong, and I would try to tell them, and they wouldn't listen. So.
Well, the problem is they're very sophisticated in how they do things. It looks legitimate and professional. They're extremely competent con artists, and people in desperate situations like Neely and Cynthia were in are gonna not look at common sense and realize that anything these people are doing, they can't do. There's no such thing.
No.
There is no. The PPTF is simply in a figment of somebody's imagination. There's no connection with the government, no connection to Trump at all. It's just some housewife that made this stuff up out of nowhere, got this gullible, unemployed pizza delivery driver to come in and brag about being third in line to the President of the United States, and they sucked in all these women. And now these women are suffering the consequences, and these other people are just going on doing their thing and not having a care in the world. They just leave these women out there to suffer for something that they got them into. It's really sad.
Yeah, and it's got to be against the law. Well, it's fraud. I mean, they're taking donations. I sent money. I sent a good bit of money. So I'm going to file it on my taxes. I haven't done that yet, but I can. I just think that it needs to be reported. That I wonder if Clark claimed any of that money.
It's hard to say. That's what's being investigated, because they're going to follow the money and see where all this money's going and just exactly what's going on. But Kirk is going to have to find another line of work, because he is not next of kin, and unless Hallett made some arrangements in a will to give the business over to Kirk Pendergrass, he's basically it's going to revert to the mother or one of the siblings or children rather than anybody else. Under the way probate works in this state. So
Right.
Kurt Pendergrass, he's going to have to go and do something else and reorganize because E-Clause is basically gone.
Well, I don't think Kirk's ever really worked too much. I think he lives with his mom. Uh,
Kurt Pendergrass, as far as I know, lives by himself. He lives in a small house on the edge of an industrial area. Uh, and he's a part-time mechanic, auto mechanic. Um, and that's about as much as I know about him. I don't, this law thing that him and Hallett did was just something they did on the internet. The two of them have never personally met, from what I understand.
they never did.
And this all came, I've heard that David Street had something to do with this in the beginning, and they somehow, basically took it over from him. So it's a convoluted mess when you try to weed through all this nonsense.
And with everybody just needs to study their case, the laws of their state, and work with these people in the court, and you can get your kids back. I've never lost a case. I go in and I advocate for these people, and you got to jump through the hoops if you want your kids. I hate that. I didn't like the laws until we can, have things changed with family court, because the family court's tough. I'm not going to ever take their side.
I understand that there's problems with the CPS, family courts, and all that, but you have to work within the system to change the system. You just can't go half-cocked and making stuff up out of thin air.
Right.
Life does not work that way. You go to your legislatures, try to get legislation done from at whatever level, be it local, state, or federal, and you get competent, expert individuals that know how to work with the court to resolve these things. And you just, going out and creating these fake organizations and fake law firms ain't going to cut it. We have a woman that's in jail, convicted of severe murder, another one up in Idaho or Colorado, and all over the place. These women are in very, very serious trouble because they got mixed up with E-Clause and these other people. It's too bad, but this is what we're looking at now. It's just, I'm going to be following yet another trial. This is probably going to take a year to work its way through the courts, and Neely is doomed. It's just a matter of time.
Yep, and it's sad that somebody had to lose their life.
Yeah.
For this to come out.
It's
really.
I would rather see Chris Hallett alive in jail than dead in a slab in a morgue somewhere. And now people are running around trying to get money to get him buried, and so on and so forth. So I don't know how legitimate that is.
Doesn't the Pentagon pedophile group pay them for their work?
Apparently not. They don't. They don't pay Tim enough money. He has to drive around the country in a car full of junk, and so I don't. It's when you start to break down the intimate details of what these people claim and how things work in real life. Tim Homeseth, if he was a press secretary for a government agency, should be knocking down about $90,000 a year. And instead, he's running around in a car. And that's if he's even still alive, because nobody's heard from this guy at very latest, the end of May of this year. So, this is a guy that loves attention. He loves having his face on the internet, and yet he's just completely gone. So, everybody, there's an ever-increasing number of people that think he's deceased, or he's in a mental ward somewhere where, the private information is preventing anybody from finding out what's going on. But this is the kind of people that Neely got mixed up with, these crackpots that, virtually every one of them have had problems with the court. Chris Hallett had child support issues. He actually got arrested for it at one time. Kirk Pendergrass has had problems with the court. I understand that even Randy's had problems with the court. Timmy's had problems with the court since way back when. You know, every single even Phil McConnell's had problems with the court. Every single solitary person that's involved in these movements have problems with the court. They've lost. And so they come up with this stuff and wind up victimizing people in the process. And now we have a death that they're responsible for, whether they want to believe it or not.
Yeah, that's definitely.
So.
I saw a question in here. Somebody asked, I don't know where it went now, but someone asked what was Kirk talking about. Someone being in his ear.
Well, I understand that Kirk's on the air right now. And
okay.
Quite frankly, I'm not interested in anything he has to say. He's basically worthless as far as I'm concerned. And the fact that he's still, you know, basically he's brushed Chris Hallett aside as other people. You know, all these people have said, okay, Hallett's dead, rest in peace. Let's continue on with these wild-ass conspiracy theories like nothing happened. It's really shameful,
exactly.
But that's the way these people are. They're divorced from reality.
Yeah, he was, I think in his video, he was talking about someone stayed in Chris's ear, we know who you are. I think he's talking about Shannon, but you know, Shannon and Kirk, when Kirk was staying in the hotel, Shannon came to the hotel and stayed with him there on donations, and then just so they could have a fling. And then
yeah, I had heard that the two of them were having a mattress mambo as well. So, you know, it's
right.
That's why I titled tonight's segment, because everybody's having sex and everybody's deceiving each other in the process. It's just really strange bunch of people.
It really is. The best thing I ever did for myself was get away from them.
Yeah, you know, and these are supposed to be Christian people, so, you know, what can you say?
Well, then that, to me, that makes it even worse. When they use Christianity to hide their God, to hide behind and play on people's emotions, you know, some of the stuff I saw Neely say on some of her videos, and then me knowing the truth, I couldn't even watch. I just had to turn it off. So, but I'm glad the truth is out, and I hope that these parents all get their children back. And my advice to everybody trying to get their children is study the laws in your state, work with your caseworkers, and make the judge happy to see you come in the courtroom. Make the judge happy to give you your children back. Because, you know, if you go in there acting like you know more than they do, they're going to put their wall up right away. They're not going to work with you and give you your children. They're going to make it harder.
Yeah.
So if you're willing to work for your children, work with them. Work within the law. You know, if you don't like the law,
work with the system.
You change the law later. Right now, you got to get your kids back. So they're your kids. You know, do what you got to do, and don't go in there with a law corner attitude, because you're not going to get your kids back with that.
Yeah, well, hopefully something good will come out of all this, and you know, it's one small group of thousands that are out there doing the same thing. But at least if we can get one group of idiots taken down, you know, it may save some lives in the long run, and it'll certainly save a lot of grief. So yeah, I want to thank you for calling in. I'm going to go ahead and before the battery goes dead in this phone. So let me. So yeah, feel free to contact me again. Everybody has my information out there. I'm in constant contact with the wolves and all that. I appreciate them with the material you guys have been sending me. I'm going to be going through everything. And hi, Kim, welcome. And so I'm going to go back and get on the chat and talk to some people on there. And you have a good night, and God bless.
You too. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, this has turned into an interesting night. Thank you for coming in, Kim. I'm glad to see you here. Nice to have a famous person in the room. And as you can see, Kim, we're having a rather interesting discussion about everything that's going on here. Now, I'm not sure how far along I got when I started out, but as I said, I talked to the Marion County Sheriff, and they kind of let me know that Neely has waived extradition. She will be coming back to Florida. She's not going to fight extradition. Because of that, they expect her back here either Friday next week or Monday, the following Monday. And then once she gets back here, the process is going to start. At some point, this will be turned over to a grand jury. The indictments will be handed down, and then we go from there. And as I did with the Casey Anthony case and so on, I will cover this thing gavel to gavel. It's roughly an hour and a half from the house, so it's going to be easier for me to go back and forth where it's necessary. Yes, Neely is definitely dry docked in Georgia. She's up in peach country. Now I don't know what's going to happen with the coronavirus with Marion County. It was interesting that the PIO I talked to was not wearing a mask. But that's... let's see, I don't know. See, I'm going to have to try and... Marion County, the PIO told me that if Neely comes to Florida, they are going to post the mugshot. So she's back here already. That's breaking news and a surprise to me. Because the only mugshot that's out there right now is in Georgia. Okay, according to this, Neely Blanchard is now in the state of Florida. It's got her as being arrested today. So, if I'm reading this correctly, Neely Blanchard is now in the state of Florida. This is a brand new mugshot that's been put up. So they they got her back here faster than expected. So, and what I'm going to do... Thanks for that information, by the way. So now, I'll be calling them Monday to get that information. See. But that was faster than I expected. Hell, I was just up there yesterday. Alright, where the hell is it? Alright, for somehow, I see why. This thing keeps asking me for videos and I want an image. Okay, this is the latest mugshot out of Marion County, Florida. So she is now in Marion County. So this is a little bit faster than I expected. Uh, who was booted from Twitter today? I didn't get. I don't know if that's so much a smile as more of a kind of a neutral look. Um, she, from what I understand from reading one of the articles, she pulled some sovereign thing where she said they didn't have the authority to have her in prison to begin with. So, no, they're not. They wanted her ass down here, and they got her down here. Um, so the PIO was off by a week. so, so that's a lot of. There's a lot of things can happen now because she's in Florida. We have a very liberal public information statute here. It's called the Sunshine Law. So getting all kinds of information is possible in the state of Florida. It's rather interesting. I don't know. Mako, a couple people have talked about you in here. So whoever wants to let him in on what's. Okay, excuse the noise, folks. I'm just getting the headset back in position here. Okay, let's see. Yeah. All right, I'm back. I had to get Pepsi because I was getting dry throat, and I don't like coughing on the air, and it's hard to get to the kill switch. Russell Gould, well, it's about time. That guy's a screwball. Well, I think something was mentioned about that she had given him information or something along that. I am glad that this Gus is in here. He's just part of the team. He has a unique way of bringing out information, and he does a very good job of it. Sometimes you're going to have disagreements of one kind or another, but in the end, we're all working together for the same cause. So, it's kind of equal footing here. Yeah, be careful. Dr. Tammy might come in here and say she doesn't consent again. She doesn't seem to consent to much. Well, again, Melissa, that shows you how desperate Neely was. She would do anything to try and procure her children. The only problem is that she, um, um, she just messed up. Yeah, Levi, I have heard a lot of things about her and her dog. Um, and there is an accusation that she has the dog in a suitcase, which is, ugh. You'd have to have a lot of Febreze in that house if that's what she's doing. Well, task force probably passed out somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, Kim, Dr. Tammy came in here and said she did not consent. And apparently she doesn't understand what a public figure is. So that was kind of an interesting burb. She was in here for about 5 minutes. This was quite a while back. Um, and, what can I say? But the person I'm the least interested in is Dr. Tammy. She's, doesn't interest me at all. Yeah, Melissa, and she blew it. She had a halfway decent situation where she had some hope that at some point, if she cleaned herself up, she might have regained custody of her children. She was at least seeing her children. But now, she's not going to, not only is she not going to see her children, she's not going to see daylight. She's going to wind up in a women's prison somewhere in Florida. Well, I don't want Tammy mentioning me. If I thought that I could tell Randy or Timmy that I don't consent, that they would shut up and take their crap about me down, I would do it. But, that ain't going to work. You sued the guy, for Christ's sake, and he still hasn't taken the stuff down. He's put it all right back up again. It's just this guy has absolutely no respect for other people, and he certainly doesn't have respect for the law. He's just out there. And none of these people have respect for the system. They don't believe in the Constitution. They don't believe in the rule of law. Yeah, I agree, Brenda. They just ruined that woman. How in hell could you have hypnotized Neely? These people come up with the dumbest shit, I swear. Well, I doubt that the mother would bring the children down to Florida to see her. Um, I don't know. It's hard to know what's going to happen from this day forward. It's it's one thing about Florida. We get the weirdest cases down here. Um, this is out of par. This is so close to the Anthony case, but we've got it all: sex, lies, and murder. Amazing. Yeah, only in Florida. The rules are different here. That used to be a motto for one of our cities down here. Oh, God. Well, as far as Brenda commenting on here, I welcome all comments from all sides as long as we don't get into ridiculous theories and stuff. I mean, if she wants to comment on E-Claus's page, that's her right to do that. She Well, you ought to see what they say about me. 3 hours ago, I'm supposed to be a press secretary for a major law firm, and all this stuff, and I haven't seen a dime out of any of this. I don't know. So let's see what we got going on over here. We got 6 minutes ago. Yep, the high command is attacking me again using QAnon chats that were created against me years ago. Florida truck driver that allegedly boasted to being a child rapist and serial killer interviewed by FBI for 4 hours. Yeah. So we have 1, 2, 3 of these things come up in the space of 6 hours. The latest in 6 minutes. So she's probably in here lurking like she always does. And let's see, they're after Monty again. These people are supposed to be working with the United States government to end child trafficking, and they're picking on a YouTuber with a small YouTube channel. And ordinary people, this is what's funny, and this is what people who get sucked up like Neely was need to understand, is these people are crackpots. They say they're something they're not. No government agency or anybody affiliated with a government agency is going to put crap like this on a Twitter account. It just ain't going to happen. And yet, here we are. Good night, Kim. Boy, you... I turned around and she left. Oh, well. Friday night fun night, a few days after his partner gets murdered. It's interesting. Oh yeah, I'm a serial killer and a pedophile. He's been calling me that for 10 years. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Uh-oh, that wasn't very nice, Levi. Grifts have to keep grifting. It's just a professional need. Well, Kirk may think he doesn't need Hallett, but Hallett basically is responsible for him to be where he was. He's going to be lost without Hallett. It's going to be a slow descent. You can almost bet on it. Within 6 months, Kirk Pendergrass is going to be a distant memory. If he's not called as a material witness in this murder case, he's going to be a memory. Alright, why are we... Oh, it's over here. Works different here. Well, Kirk ought to do what he does best. Go fix cars. Make more money. Yeah, the behavior that's come out of these people is, kind of weird, really. But, yeah, the problem is there's thousands of women like Neely out there, and they're just ripe for the pickings. So they're just going to keep this up until they finally arrested. It's going to take getting these people out of circulation in jail to put a stop to this. Sudden, the donation requests are starting. Oh yeah, there's some wild conspiracy theories about Levi. It's funny. Um, I'm not sure why. Yeah, they're basically killing themselves with these wacky conspiracy theories because people are going to get tired of it. They're going to say, "We're not here because of somebody we've never heard of. We're here for the children." And they're clearly not for the children when they keep up these kind of silly personal attacks against people. So, you can't talk common sense into idiots. Well, firemen, there are rumors that the daughters, I guess she's got more than one daughter, won't even talk to her and won't allow the kids, her grandchildren, to see them. So it's, this is the kind of stuff that's going on, and they're not thrilled that she had any association with QAnon and with homicide. And I want to see. Now, I did check today on Field McConnell. His case is still on hold. Nothing going on there. Okay, 5 hours ago on Shannon's Facebook, she has put out a thing where they are asking for contributions for final arrangements. Um, Somebody out of Ohio started this. Um, and Healing with Chris Hallett, favorite movies. So, but there is, so the donation requests have already started up. Um, well, Levi, Kirk may think he's going to be able to take over E-Clause, but um, it depends on how Hallett set it up and if he made out a will. If he made out a will specifically saying that Kirk Pendergrass is supposed to take it over, then fine. But otherwise, the way probate works in Florida, if the mother is alive, she has control of E-Clause, and also the children and ex-wife as next of kin would have a say in what happens with E-Clause. So this is, this is going to be in probate for at least 6 months, depending on how things shake out. But, Shannon apparently says that she's going to go ahead with his work with this alternative law theory. So, she's taking up the mantle. I don't know how successful she's going to be, but, she's going to give it the old college try, I guess. Well, he may have his own LLC, but the problem is, does Kirk have the skill to do this on his own without Chris Hallett? This is something that's going to be seen as they go down the road. The key to the success of that show is that they would debate each other and they would debate their interpretation of the law. And when you break that format and make it into a one-man show, that's a difficult thing to do. So it's going to be curious to see if he can pull it off. I think that Chris Hallett carried Kirk Pendergrass, and Chris Hallett was responsible for whatever Kirk Pendergrass had as a success, and that without Chris Hallett, Kirk Pendergrass may not survive, and E-Clause will just go away. We saw the same thing with Bill McConnell. Dr. Good Vibes is not doing that well right now. People are falling away rapidly with his show. So I don't know if Good Vibes is going to survive either. Well, I do appreciate everybody getting information to me. Shar, I appreciate your efforts in contacting me. This is a team effort here. More people that can get the truth out about what happened with E-Clause and with these people victimizing women, the better. We are all messengers. We provide our unique perspective on each and every aspect of these occurrences. My main thrust is going to be to cover the legal meanderings as this case works through the court. Now that she's in the state of Florida, I would suspect that on Monday there's going to be an indictment hearing, and there's going to be counsel appointed, and the process is going to start. And it looks like it's going to be a little faster than I anticipated. I did not expect her to be in Florida today. This is less than a week since this crime happened. And usually the way these things work, it takes a few days. But they got her down here in a quick hurry. And so it's, again, I thank whoever got me that information, because this is a complete surprise. I hadn't even anticipated starting to check the database until Monday. So this saved me a little bit of work. And, I'll start requesting paperwork and following things in Marion County as the week progresses. Dwayne, that's hard to say. See, Tim Holmseth is lucky. He is on the run from a misdemeanor warrant. And because it's a misdemeanor warrant, it's going to be that much less of an incentive of the authorities to arrest him. So he's basically scot-free, is lucky in that respect. Boy, it looks like things are hot and heavy in the chat. Let's not beat each other up too much, guys. That would have been, the last episode would have been a little over 9 days ago, or 9 days prior to the murder. Well, what's interesting when we're speaking of sovereign citizens, Randy Lynn Erickson filed bankruptcy as a sovereign citizen. I thought that was rather interesting. These people use the legal system when it's convenient for them to do so, and yet they sit there and complain about the system. 24 minutes. Yep, I certainly am on her mind tonight. Gotta love it. Paige and Discus, if you guys could calm it down just a little bit, I try to keep things somewhat calm in here. I know you guys have got a grievance, but I wish you'd work it out among yourselves and keep it at a minimum in here. We all have strong personalities and we're going to have disagreements, but I want to try and keep things as calm as possible and kind of keep on topic in here. So, wow. But let me see if the phone has still got some juice in it here. I've got some audio clips that were sent to me. Okay, I'm gonna play this. Let's see, this is who's. Alright, this is one of Glow's videos. Let me see. I'm gonna see Glow. Let me go into Glow. Gonna see if this is gonna play. Chief Willie commented, I don't like going too deep into the sovereign citizen thing. I really don't agree with it. And, it's based on the actions of some of these people, but, see if this brings up Glow. And no, it didn't. It got me something else. See, we'll do it this way. Because I saw something here on Glow's channel and I'm trying to bring it up. Okay, let's get back on topic, guys, if we can, please. To whatever extent that's possible. Let's see, where's subscriptions? Alright, I'm searching for that video and I'm not finding the way this thing is acting. I don't know. Let me see. Try this. That's what I wanted right there. Subscriptions. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay. Okay, God, this thing is an hour long. And for whatever reason, allowing me to get the audio. See how. But this was June 3rd, 2020, so if people want to go over to Glow's channel and see this, that's probably what I would recommend. I'm not going to be able to bring it in here. Well, there's a 50-minute video of Chris Hallett talking to Neely Blanchard. Um, and Glow put it up about 5 hours ago. There's a couple things that Glow has put up. So if people go over to Glow 5's channel, they can see that. Because I'm going to have to work on trying to figure out how to bring that in here. My video player's not working properly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess, basically, Chris does all the talking and she just sits there and listens. Yeah, he shows the worthless. Lipstick, hello and welcome to the chat. Good to see you in here. It's quite interesting how things have picked up. A surprising number of people watching this. And I appreciate each and every person that's tuning in. Well, that's alright, Lipstick. One thing you can always do is when this finally gets processed, you can watch the replay. Well, it's rather interesting. And I think what I'm going to do, just for the heck of something to do, is let me... Okay, Neely, we're going to tank you. And... I'm going to take, let's see a minute, let me work on, cancel me out, cancel this out. And I'm just going to, since Lipstick, you just came in here, I'm going to replay this tape. And there I am floating down the road. Oh boy. Hello, Robert. Well, apparently Neely does. But that's a house on the left. And... This is a video I took of my run up to the crime scene. There is the house where the murder took place as it looked yesterday afternoon. There's 4 cars in the driveway. None of them have moved. This slide here, this is the front door to the residence. All the curtains are closed, no activity. I was there for about 15 minutes and nothing going on. Yeah, so if anybody's in the house, they're staying away from the windows. The van in the foreground, I have no idea who owns it. The burgundy Suburban in the background is supposed to be Chris Hallett's vehicle. There's also a small gray Toyota in the background. It's parked on the grass. May not be operating. And as I leave, I basically take another shot of the house, and from here I go to the Marion County Sheriff's Office. It took me roughly 20 minutes to get up there. Now, this substation is the one that responded to the shooting. I went here to talk to personnel here, and then I also went to the main operations center up in downtown Ocala to get an idea of what the procedure was going to be. Now, I was told that Neely wasn't supposed to be down here until next week, but apparently they got her down here a lot faster than that. So, Neely is now in the state of Florida at the Marion County Jail, and she will be there awaiting her being brought back to be brought into court and charged with murder. I have ordered some information from the PIO. I'm going to follow up with the order on Monday to see what the logistics are going to be, and when that information arrives, it's an audio, and it will be put up on either on a live stream or on one of my recorded videos. So we'll see how that works out. Well, she basically should plea out and try and cut a deal. It's going to be hard to say what's going to happen there, but the way Shannon described it, she's Neely is facing some pretty serious charges, and it's the state is going for murder one. So that's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Yet. And when she realized that he was still alive, she went over and finished him off. He was shot a total of 4 times. At least 4 times. She basically unloaded the gun into him. Some shots she missed, and bullets were on the kitchen floor, and so on. So there's a lot going on here. But the initial report was that she shot him in the back twice. He fell on the floor, and she shot him again. Trying to see. Okay, I know what I'm going to have to do because I want to bring down the. Yeah, I'm bringing up. Okay, let me go through this. Eyewitness advised she was in residence that evening with the victim. Defendant and her daughter, and he had a pained look on his face. She indicated that the defendant was holding a black pistol with something bright yellow near the barrel. She advised that the defendant was in the common area of the residence holding the gun as if it was jammed and swiveled her body, aiming the gun at her and her daughter. All right, so this is the mother testifying. So she grabbed her daughter and fled into the rear of the residence. Advised she heard additional shots after this and called MSCO. All right, now let me bring up okay, that's that section. So this was the first part. So this is where this turns into an execution because she shot Chris Hallett. He was incapacitated on the floor. The gun jammed. She turned around, pointed it at her and her child, and after she unjammed the gun, she turned around and finished off Chris Hallett. So basically an execution. So let me go in and get another part of this. Thought I had the whole thing in one copy, and apparently I didn't. I was going to prepare this a little better for presenting the entire document, and my plans changed at the last minute, so I'm kind of doing this haphazard. So I'm not sure what order I'm bringing these documents in. I'd have to go back in and so let's see what's on this one. During the interviews with both mother and child, it is speculated that the victim was shot by the defendant due to her belief that the victim might have been working against her or working to assist the government in keeping her child away from her. Your affidavit, this is of the deputy, generated a photo lineup of the defendant and Deputy Manchester administered the lineup with both parties. Both parties were able to positively identify the defendant as the person who shot the victim. On the morning of 11/16/20, your affidavit received notification that the defendant was located and detained by law enforcement in Lowndes County, Georgia. Now, there's an interesting story here about this. It turns out that the deputy in Lowndes County, Georgia, is the brother of one of the investigating deputies here in Florida, in Marion County. So he called his Florida brother and asked for detailed information about the car, and they basically were waiting for her to cross into Georgia, and when she pulled into the gas station, they arrested her on the spot. So it's rather intriguing postscript to this story that two brothers, 2 states apart, assisted each other in the arrest of Neely. But this is just I got it from this document here. Because it says murder, dangerous, and depraved. That's first degree murder. And if you look up at the charge, you're going to see 782 dash or dot 04 dot 02. That's first degree murder. And the came out as to what she actually did. They upgraded it to murder one. Now it's be hit with murder one. There's and what these are preliminary charges. Now what happens is this is going to go before a grand jury, and the grand jury will decide the charge. The state is going to say we want murder one, but the grand jury could come back and say no, we don't see enough evidence. We're going to hit her with murder two. So that is what's going to have to be decided here. So we got yeah, Levi's right. She went to Kentucky to be with her mother and family. And when she kidnapped the children, she went from one part of Kentucky to another part of Kentucky to see the family that was in the other part of Kentucky. So, it's just that she waited until her mother left the house and she took the kids and went to Kentucky. Doesn't matter, or went to the other side of Kentucky. It doesn't matter if they were family or not. She was not supposed to take the children out of the custody of the mother. And that's where this all went down. I'm looking at some of the documentation here. Trying to find where this went. It's just not. Oh, I know. Let me do this again. I'm gonna put image. Okay, this shows the whole document. I zoomed in on it before, but you can see where it says felony homicide, and then it gives the descriptions and the statute. Yeah, it was custodial interference. I stand corrected on that. But it's, she was still charged. And she had been indicted on the previous Tuesday, I understand. And I think that was probably what caused it all. And then she went down to Florida. Something happened. There had been a slew of phone calls all day, and the phone calls stopped at 6 o'clock. He was shot, and there was another phone call that was made at 8 minutes after 9, and that was it. So I have to find out what the gist of all these telephone calls were. One call I noticed on the call log, she'd been on the phone for like 3 hours. Yeah, it's about another 15 minutes. I'm going to call it because I'm back on schedule starting tomorrow, so I've got to get rested up. Yeah, have a good road trip there, Shark. She lived in Florida at one time. That was a legal residence. I believe she had gone up to Kentucky, and she had been up there and then came back down here again. So it's, all these details, I guess, is going to have to wait and come out as this investigation goes forward. And they start getting a list of witnesses that are going to have to be called. And, as the discovery, there's going to be discovery hearings, there's going to be an assignment of counsel. All this is going to take place. So, yeah, I got 2013. It looks like she got off to a bad start right early. That's 7 years ago. So, and it's like was said that she was not supposed to be let out of jail twice. So, the law enforcement blew it. Well, you'll have plenty of time because it's going to be quite a while before there's a trial. And I am going to try. Yeah, thank you for people that are subscribing. I really appreciate it. Because this way I will be able to do live remotes from Ocala and anywhere else this case takes me. So, much appreciated. That live as well. Yeah, I was sitting outside his house yesterday. That's where the video I just showed came from. I was there for about 15 minutes. And, I went up there this morning, took video of the house, took a couple still pictures, and then went over to the sheriff's office to file my records request and discuss with them what happened. Fireman John, I have been told that the video you mentioned was shot a week before she came to Florida, and that it was actually up in the general Pensacola area. The person was familiar with the beaches up in Pensacola and stated that that is where she was when that video was taken. Phil McConnell's. I have not been anywhere near Phil McConnell's son's house. Now, speaking of Phil McConnell's house, I'm going to give you guys a sneak preview. Let's see. This video was preempted because of what happened here. So let me see if I've got this. Okay. Well, the information about the gun has not come out. So that's what we're going to have to wait and see. And this is the wrong video. Savannah, you're whose sister? Oh, you're Neely's sister. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I have a feeling this is the wrong video. Let's see. I wonder why the timer quit. Okay, that's interesting now, though. Well, I didn't. This is the wrong video, and it's jammed. I can't shut it off, so I guess I'm just gonna have to let it play through. Savannah, do you live in the state of Florida by any chance? She's down here now. I think she got transferred to Marion County apparently today. That's the one question I didn't ask law enforcement when I was up there is if a gun had been found or not. Uh, I really didn't discuss that much of the case with them. I suspect we're going to find out um, shortly as the evidence is gathered uh, and they decide when and how they're going to release information to to the public. I hope others. Okay, hopefully this is the right video. It's just for whatever reason it played through. I'll know here in a minute. Uh, this particular video we're watching, this is when I went to Plum City, Wisconsin, and I came into the city, and of course I pulled over to take a picture of the sign. I'm like foreign tourists. I took pictures, and I took it for reference for any of my videos that I was going to make. And there I am walking around with a t-shirt on in 50-degree weather in Wisconsin. Well, the only one responsible for what happened to Chris Hallett at the moment is both Chris Hallett for creating the situation and allegedly Neely for shooting him. Well, if the gun was stolen, that adds a totally different dynamic, and that means that, then she can be charged with possession of a stolen firearm, which is pretty serious. So, it's bad for her no matter what. It's just you get into extra charges, and so this is what, the Marion County Sheriff's going to be investigating, is getting all the details worked out. All the electronic devices in the house were taken into discovery or taken to the sheriff's office to be forensically examined, and that's going on as we speak. Now, what at some point I would suspect that law enforcement is going to want to know where the gun came from. Okay, this is the right video. I had an edited version of this video, so this is just going to be the long version. Well, we won't know until the case goes to trial, because it'll come out at the trial where the gun came from. Well, that's a good question. We don't know whose gun was used, if it was Fields or somebody else's gun, if it was stolen, or where it came from. This is what the sheriff is going to have to determine, is where the gun came from and how she came to be in possession of it. The problem for her is that she had no business having a gun in the first place. She was not allowed to have a gun due to her past. So, right now, the best thing that's going to happen is we're going to have to wait and find out where the gun came from. People have told me where they think it came from, and it's unverified information. So basically, we're going to have to wait and see where the case leads. Because the sheriff's department's going to investigate thoroughly all aspects of the case. They're going to interview people. It's going to go before a grand jury. The state attorney's going to handle it from there, and it's going to go to trial. So, right now, any information regarding the gun, I would take with a grain of salt. It's one of these things that we're going to have to wait and see just exactly what happens. Yeah, this all could have been prevented a long time ago by putting Chris Hallett and the rest of these people in jail and putting a stop to E-Clause. But, we're in the situation we're in now because of this malarkey that they've been doing on the internet. No, that's corn. They don't grow sugar cane in Minnesota up there. Yeah, it's a pity it didn't happen because, look at what's happened. A guy is dead because of this nonsense. And a woman is in jail. And all kinds of lives have been disrupted over this crap. This is not Ocala. This is Plum City. Uh, trying to get this video to stop. Finally. Gotta see if I can find the shorter version. Or why? Yeah, this is the one. Okay, let me bring this into the room. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to bring in the short version. So bear with me a minute. I'm going a little over on time. Because I'm going to put this last video in here and then I'm going to call it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see if you guys can figure out where this is, video. What I'm going to do is No, this is Plum City, Levi. Yeah, a lot of corn, a lot of trees. And all this stuff is parked. This is a three to the right. That's a 3-car garage. And you got our green Lincoln, this big Ford pickup, and a utility vehicle were parked there. that's one of the limousines there, as you notice. Uh, there's no Children's Crusade on the limousine. He actually owns two of these. There's another one. This is basic. That road's a half a mile long. Unfortunately, Paige, what happens in these situations is people just will not listen to the truth. They are adamant in their belief, and they just will go down uh, the sad path, and that's what happened with her. She went down the path to oblivion. She murdered somebody, and now she's in jail awaiting her fate. And she's going to be in jail for quite a while before this even goes to trial. There is no bail in capital murder. So, unfortunately, that's where we're at here. Well, firemen, any help I can get would be appreciated. And, anybody out there that has information, feel free to descriptions. But anyway, I do appreciate everybody tuning in, and please like and subscribe. Help me build the numbers up. This channel is starting to grow, and it's all because of you people out there. There's a lot of people out there. Well, thanks. I appreciate that, firemen. We're all out here just trying to get to the truth. I'm going to go through this case step by step, reporting what I find out from the authorities, and people are free to express their opinions. But there are other people out there doing live streams about this case and recorded as well, like Lowe and Dodger, Discuss, and the other gentleman that was in here tonight. So you all seek these people out, see what they have to say, gather the information, make your own judgments. Hopefully, this will have some mothers that are in desperate situations will come to an end, that they will be able to find legitimate help instead of getting hooked up with grifters like Pendergrass and Holmseth and these other people. So with that, I'm going to close things out. This is William K. Murtaugh, Witness 1. Good evening to you all. Like and subscribe, and have a good one.